It's 2:30 in the morning and I am tired because I have been at work all day. But I love testing my mind whenever I am tired because it goes into La La Land. And La La Land is so fun whenever you're so sleepy. And why not solve riddles that has a story to it? Yep, I love riddles, and whenever there's a riddle that has a story, like a little plot to it, my mind be going crazy. My mind is in La La Land mode, and it's time for y'all to join me. So, welcome to the mind of Darius. All right, so first and foremost, want to say thank you to Reader's Digest. That's exactly where I got these riddles from. There's 50 riddles on here, and I only read the last 5 of them just to make sure that I got the idea of what these riddles are. So all of these riddles, I'm literally gonna read. I don't know the answers to them. I screenshotted all of them, and I screenshotted it with the answer, and I did not read any of them. I do have integrity with that, so I just want to let y'all know that in the front end. So the article on the website is 50 long riddles to give your brain a workout. And I'm excited because I like working my brain out sometimes. And we're going to see if it does it the right way. And I got some food right here waiting on me, and that's like my reward after, working my brain out. So we're going to do this together. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So today I'm doing 1 through 10. We're just going to explore, find some answers, throw some theories out there. All right. Number 1. Let's do it. It says, a wealthy family lived in a big circular house. They had a maid. I need to go to sleep. They had a maid, a butler, and a gardener. The parents were going to a party, so they took the youngest kids into bed and kissed them goodnight and said goodbye, and kissed the older kids goodnight. When the parents came home, all the kids were gone. They had been kidnapped. The authorities asked the butler, maid, and gardener what they were doing at the time of the kidnapping. The butler says he was organizing the library. The maid says she was dusting the corners. Girl, the corners? Dusting the corners? And the gardener says he was watering the plants. Who's lying and who actually kidnapped the kids? Okay. It's time to go into detective mode, okay? There's a maid, there's a butler, and there's a gardener. Maid is supposed to be dusting stuff, cleaning stuff, right? A butler is not supposed to be organizing things. They're supposed to be doing things. They're there for service. They're there for action. They're there for, hey, I need this. The maid is supposed to be cleaning. Says the authorities asked the butler, maid, and gardener. Keyword the in front of butler. That's what I noticed. What they were doing at the time of the kidnapping, the butler says he was organizing the library. Now, let's pause. A wealthy family lived in a big circular house. The house is a circular structure. The maid says she was dusting the corners. The house is a circular structure. The maid was the person who kidnapped the kids. That's my final verdict. Let's see. Yes, I was right. Oh my god, that was so good. That was good. That was good. Detective skills, that was some real good detective skills. Like I like to go through all the angles and accuse everybody of it until I figure out the answer. And Butler, he was my number one suspect until I went back and said the circular house and realized it was made in the corner. So yeah, we did that one. Shout out to you if you got it right. Keep track. I'm 1-0 right now. All right, number 2. It says a farmer went to a market and bought a wolf, a goat, and a cabbage. What an interesting combination. On his way home, the farmer came to the bank of a river and rented a boat. But crossing the river by boat, the farmer could carry only himself and a single one of his purchases: the wolf, the goat, or the cabbage. If left unattended together, the wolf would eat the goat, or the goat would eat the cabbage. The farmer's challenge was to carry himself and his purchase to the far bank of the river, leaving each purchase intact. How did he do it? This is a good one, let me think. All right. He bought a wolf. Okay, that's just crazy. First of all, first and foremost, that's a little insane. He bought a goat, and he also bought a cabbage. Okay, a cabbage is a little suspicious to me. But we're gonna figure that out in a second. Farmers market. You cannot buy a wolf at a farmer's market. That's insane, okay? But we're going to move on, all right? It says, crossing the river by boat, the farmer could only carry himself and a single one of his purchases. I'm probably not going to be right, but after reading this, just sitting right here and just my thought and thinking about a scenario about how he could have did that, I noticed the trend of him saying he could not leave everything unattended. He couldn't leave the wolf and the goat together because the wolf is going to eat the goat and the goat is going to eat the cabbage. But he didn't say anything about the cabbage being eaten by the wolf. I'm guessing that he used he carried himself on the boat. He used the cabbage to make the goat move. And the goat was moving. And so because the goat was moving, the wolf was moving behind the goat. And then he was able to separate them and keep them all alive. That's my scenario. That's my theory. It's probably not gonna be right, but let's see what this answer is, because I'm a little delusional right now. The farmer takes 7 trips over. What? I'm not even finna try to figure that out. That don't make no sense to me. We're just gonna move on to the next one. All right, here we are for number 3. It says, a woman is sitting in her hotel room and hears a knock at the door. She opens the door and sees a man who she never met before. He says, "I'm sorry. I have made a mistake. I thought this was my room." He then goes down the corridor and into the elevator. The woman goes back into her room and calls security. What made the woman so suspicious of the man? This is one of these type of riddles. I know I made her suspicious. If he thought it was his room, he would have just used the key to open the door, right? And he didn't do that, first of all, okay? Secondly, you just walk back down the hallway and go into the elevator? Interesting. Okay. Thirdly, like I said the first time, he wouldn't have knocked at the door if it was his room. And she knew that. And she called security and got him out. And am I right? Let's look and see. Period. Detective Darius. I think I'm 2-1 right now. I take that. I'm winning right now. That's cool. I take that. All right, let's look at number 4. All right, number 4 says, Grandpa went on a walk and it started raining. He forgot to bring an umbrella and didn't have a hat. When he got home, his clothes were soaking wet, but not a hair on his head was wet. How was this possible? I want to say grandpa don't have no hair. That's my initial guess. I don't think that grandpa has any hair because all his clothes, wait. Yeah, no, if all of his clothes is wet, if he's soaking wet, he doesn't have an umbrella, he doesn't have a hat. What is covering his head? Yeah, I just don't think that grandpa has hair. And that's my theory. Let's see what we got. And I really don't think, again, like I said, I really don't want y'all to think that I looked at any of these before. I did not. Like, I have integrity with this. Like, I'm just an investigator. I'm good at this. This is just good. Like, yeah, he ain't got no hair. Yeah, if he ain't got no umbrella, no hat, what's covering his head? Nothing. He ain't got no hair. That's it. Good for grandpa. He ain't got to worry about, like, doing anything extra to his head or anything like that. It's so good. I am borderline delusional right now. I am very tired. Very tired. All right. Let's look at number 5. It says, you walk into a room and see a bed. On the bed, there are 2 dogs, 5 cats, a giraffe, 6 cows, and a goose. What an interesting combination. What is up with these interesting combinations? That's just so interesting. There are also 3 doves flying above the bed. How many legs are on the floor? All right. Let me go ahead and break this down for you, okay? It says on the bed. That's it. That's it. That's all you need. On the bed, there's 4 legs on the bed. There's 4 legs holding up the bed. That is it. Because none of the animals are on the floor. They're on the bed, right? The doves, they're flying. Not on the floor, right? Let's see what this answer is. Oh. So y'all see, I was right though, right? With the 4 legs for the bed, but I wasn't even thinking. I didn't even read the beginning of it again. It says you walk into a room, which means me. I walked into the room. Yeah. It was 6 legs. I'll take that. That's fair because that is 2 different feet and 2 different legs on the floor too for me. Yeah, I'll take that all now. But I'll take that all now. That's cool. That's cool. 3 and 2. I take that. Nah, whatever. Whatever. All right, let's get to number 6. It says a farm. All right, number 6, it says, a California farmer owns a beautiful pear tree. He supplies the fruit to a nearby grocery store. The store owner calls the farmer to see how much fruit is available for him to buy. This is a really good deal, by the way. You know, he's selling them, and he's making some profit. You know, they're making profit off of selling, you know, some really good fruit. I like this. This is some really good collaboration. It then says, the farmer knows the main truck has 24 branches. Each branch has exactly 12 bros, I don't know how to say that word. And each one of them things has exactly 6 twigs. Since each twig bears 1 piece of fruit, how many plums will the farmer be able to deliver? All right, let's go ahead and ask the question again because I think the answer is in the question. Since each twig bears 1 piece of fruit, how many plums will the farmer be able to deliver? Okay, let's rewind this back a little bit more, right? It says a California farmer owns a beautiful pear tree, not plum tree. Therefore, all the information in between doesn't even matter because the question is invalid because it's asking for plums and that this is a person who creates pears. So it's all filler. You didn't need any of the information because they don't use it. This is how my mind be thinking. I'd be like, okay, yeah. All of that doesn't even matter anymore. So let's go ahead and figure out everything else and let's just go ahead and see the answer. What is it? Was I right? I think I was right. I think I was right. 4 and 2, baby. That's pretty good so far. I think I'm doing really good for it should be really late in the night. All right, let's go ahead and get to number 7. It says, a man is found unconscious in front of a store at 2 in the morning. His head is bleeding, and there's a brick lying next to him. When the police arrive, they carry the man to jail. Why did they arrest him? I want to say, this is gonna be so freaking funny. I want to say that the store owners were there. He was trying to do something that was bad, either breaking in or something that's even worse. And the store owner got mad at him and was like, "Enough is enough," and threw the brick at him. And that caused him to bleed in the face. And that's why he was unconscious. And when the police arrived, the store owner was right there, like, "Yep, he did it, and I did this," and they took him to jail because he was the person who was perpetrating everything. That's my mind. That's my thinking. I don't know if I'm right, but we're gonna see. Let's check it out. The man was trying to rob the store. He threw a brick at the store's bulletproof window and it bounced back and hit him. I think that counts. I think even well, okay. You know, it might not count. I'm gonna just take that L on that one, but I think my story was kind of close to that. Like, there was a brick involved. Somebody threw the brick, like, and I think that the clerk threw the brick, like, because what was he doing? Something bad. So he got his karma, like, he got his little bad juju on that. So, like, I'm gonna just let it not count, but it kind of count. You know what I mean? You know, it's kind of that kind of count. You know that kind of count. All right, what is that? 4-3. 4-3. No, not too bad. Not too shabby. I'm still out of 8, so I'll take it. All right, number 8. Let's do it. Number 8 says, in a 1-story home at the corner of the road, the bedrooms were yellow. The kitchen was orange. The living room was red. The garage was blue. The entry hall was green. And the sitting room was purple. What color were the stairs? I'm going to read you 2 sentences. I'm going to let you guess it. You probably already got it. If you got it, I know you on the same wavelength as me. You know, you got brain power. Yeah, you got some mental, critical thinking and capacity in you. And I appreciate you. You know, I love people who think just like me with this, right? But if you ain't got it, I'm going to read 2 sentences for you. This going to be your hint. I'm going to let you guess it, okay? In a 1-story house at the corner of the road, that's 1 sentence, okay? What color were the stairs? That's the 2nd sentence. All right. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to figure it out, okay? 10, 9. With the 8 and the 7, to the 6 and the 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The answer is, this is a one-story house. There is no stairs. Therefore, they ain't gotta have no color. Therefore, all of that information we just learned did not matter. Filler. They gotta love it. You gotta love it. I love riddles. It's always something deeper, and it's always a little plot with the stories in it. So I love story plots. It's so good. All right, we almost there. All right, number 9. We almost there. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. At number 9, it says, my first is in chocolate, but no. What? Hold on. Okay. Let me start over because I'm just so lost. Okay. It says, my first is in chocolate, but no in ham. My second is in cake, but also in jam. My third at tea time is easily found. All together, this is a friend who is often around. What is it? My first is in chocolate, okay, but not in ham. All right, so what is in ham? The H, the A is out there too, and there is no M in there. So it has to be either a C, it either has to be a O, it either has to be a L, or it has to be a E. My second is in cake, okay? Again, like I said, we have the C and we have the E that we still have available. It's also in jam. Now I gotta think on this one. Okay. My third at tea time. Wait, I want to say, is this sugar? Because there's sugar in chocolate, but there's not no sugar in ham. There's sugar in cake. There's also some sugar inside of jam as well. Tea time, you always find sugar because that's the only way I'm gonna be drinking any type of tea. I thought it was like some wordplay or something like that, where like there was some letters, but then a third is at tea time, it can be easily found. But jam is an A. It's an A in ham. So I don't know. I want to say it's just sugar. I think it's just very simple, and I'm just overthinking it. So let's figure it out. Okay, let's read this all together because I'm still confused. It says C. It says cat. C is the first letter in chocolate. A is the second letter in cake and jam. Okay. And T is the third letter in tea time. My third is at tea time, which is gonna be an A. Third letter is T is the third letter in tea time. I don't get it. I think it's just spelling cat, and I don't understand. I'll take the L on that one. We tied at what? No, we not tied. We 5-4. We 5-4 now. All right. That just threw me off. I'm not gonna cap. That really just threw me off. But we're gonna get to the last one. We're gonna figure this one out, and we're gonna come off on top. So let's do this. All right. All right, let's do number 10. It says, I am beautiful up in the sky. I am magical, yet I cannot fly. To people, I bring luck, and to some people, riches. The boys at my end does whatever he wishes. What am I? All right, I have my answer, and it is a very, 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 very beautiful thing to witness in person. I get excited when I see one, and it's also just beautiful. I just like beautiful aesthetic things. It's just really aesthetically beautiful. I love it. But do you have your answer? Because I have my answer. The answer is a rainbow. Yeah. A rainbow. I love rainbows. Rainbows are just beautiful. I love them. They're great. Great job, my detective friends. I love story riddles, and we're going to be doing a lot more of them. So, you're going to look out for that, all right? If I made you laugh, smile, even keep a straight face on this very, very late night, tell somebody you love them. Till next time, peace.